Okay. Well, hi, everyone. We are excited. We are here for call number 4 of our 90 days dedication call. Myself, Donna McDonald, and Kim Manning are the facilitators this evening. And we feel really fortunate that we have this call because after yesterday's trip announcement, we know you guys are so jacked and so excited to be planning for a successful 2018. And that's what we're going to be talking a little bit about today, is about planning for that successful year and also some of the steps and how to do that. So I want to start the call with a little bit of recognition because, yes, you know what, you can be on these calls and you can listen and you know, take all the ideas in, but it's really about what you're putting into action. And that is the goal of doing your tic-tac-toe card. And I have to tell you guys, I got to give you a little, you know, you're dragging your feet on those tic-tac-toe cards. We need to get those tic-tac-toe cards in early because we just love giving prizes away. So we want, though, those tic-tac-toe cards are kind of your barometer. They tell us how well, you know, the program is going for you. So first of all, I want to give kudos to those of you that did turn in your tic-tac-toe cards. First of all, congratulations to Kathy Gordon. Congratulations to Ann Knight, Janae Hayes, Melba Neighbors, Jennifer McBride, and we have 2 super overachievers that had their complete tic-tac-toe boards covered, and that's Stephanie Humphrey and Shannon Shanley. So congratulations, guys. We're really excited for you. So good going. And, you know, I'd love to hear, you know,
but I didn't.
Was your Joy, you're on mute.
Here, there we go. I finished mine. I just didn't get to upload the picture, but I did finish it. And I'm sorry, my husband was asking me. He was like, "You didn't finish?" And so I'm sorry.
Okay. So in the future, if that happens, you know, even if you take a picture and send it to one of us, you know, we promise, you know, we'll give you credit on that because of course we want to celebrate your success.
Yeah, I just put on the site that I did it, but I was like running around town when I was listening to that last thing. So.
No
Keep going. Sorry.
Well, thank you for getting it done. Okay, awesome. All right. So first thing that I would like to ask you is, are you excited? What do you think about the trip? So let me do a raise of hands. Who is planning on going to Scottsdale? Raise your hand. Okay. Now I know, you know what, we announced Scottsdale, you know, my husband was at the meeting. We've been to Scottsdale numerous times and he said, you know, Donna, he said, I don't think by the reaction of the crowd, they didn't really realize what an amazing resort that is. I mean, that is truly a 5-star resort. So even though you're thinking, oh, it's Scottsdale, it's like, it's the Ritz-Carlton of Scottsdale. So, so those of you that, you know, maybe, you know, the opportunity is not there to go at that time of year to Hawaii, or, you know, that's just, you know, maybe not a goal of yours, don't look at Scottsdale as being, you know, kind of a mediocre trip, because there isn't a Pampered Chef trip out there that's mediocre. You know, when you go on your first Pampered Chef trip, ladies, you will never, ever want to miss another trip. And I think those of you that have been at conference kind of get a little bit of the flavor of how Pampered Chef does things. Okay, we do things, you know, top notch. And you know what, if you get that reaction from conference when you go on a trip, you know, you're going to be just overwhelmed. So, okay, so that's my little speech about Scottsdale. So how many are looking at Hawaii, going to Oahu, being there? Okay, we got Kathy, we got Janae, Kim's 2 hands, Joy Michelle, yeah, hands up there. Everybody, you know what, here's the thing. You right now are working a program 90 days. Okay, and you keep working that program 90 days and working toward your directorship, that trip is going to be a reality, because it's about selling, It's about recruiting. It's about developing a really strong team and developing a really great personal business. And that's what you're focusing on right now. So you're not going to be doing anything differently. Right now, you are in the best program to set you up to go places next year with Pampered Chef. So just keep driving the bus the way that you're driving it, and it's going to happen for each of you. And we love traveling together. And one of the things is, you know, when you bring your husband on that first trip, or you bring your mom, or I brought my mom, I brought my sister, my sister-in-law, my cousin, so many people, they are your Pampered Chef favorites forever. Believe me, you can ask them for anything, and they will help once they have been pampered by a trip. So keep that in mind. You know, like I said, work this program now, and we're going to talk a little bit right now. Kim, any if you want to add on anything to what I said there?
I just, you know, you have to travel with Pampered Chef. It's just, I mean, I love to tell the story about when we went to Toronto, and it's just like literally I got an email saying, here's a flight that we found. Does this work for you? My only job was to pack my bag and get to the airport. That was it. Once we got to the airport, you know, they had a bus there to pick us up. We just had to roll our bag to the bus. They put it on. They got the bags to the rooms. And it was just awesome. And then when we got to that trip, we got a travel, or not a travel allowance, a spending money. So we go in and register at the hotel, and they hand me an envelope, and I'm thinking there's like an agenda in there or something. No, it's cash. There was $250 cash for us to use while we were there. So, I mean, it's just awesome. You gotta travel with Pampered Chef.
Okay, that's right. Awesome. Thanks, Kim. Okay, so the first part of this call, we're going to talk a little bit about goal setting and you know, how we're going to get this whole thing on board so that we can get going and be set up for 2018. So I'm going to ask Kim to screen share for us, and we are not going to be able to show full screen, and that's a whole nother technical topic for another day, but I know that you're going to. Okay. So what this is all about, goal setting is about, first of all, looking at your numbers and knowing what it is that you need to do. So if you listen to the call yesterday about the trip, it explained to you the ways to earn the trip. And it's basically your first focus is going to be on booking, because what we want is we want sales, all right? So we want to look at our sales and our numbers from last year. And all this information is right in Consultant Connection. Okay. So look at your sales and what did you do last year? Okay. So what trip is that you want to go to? And we need to break that down monthly. Okay. Let's go to the next slide, please. There we go. Okay. So what we mentioned yesterday was that you have so many opportunities. You can do cooking shows, you can do virtual shows, you can do fundraisers, you can bridal, catalog, online. So many opportunities, but you have to connect to one of those opportunities. I mean, connect in a way that when you're talking about it, you kind of have that, why would you not attitude, okay? You should be able to be walking, talking, selling it in your sleep excited, okay? Okay, so what we want to do is we want to look at those numbers, and we want to divide that number by 10, excuse me. Look at your last 10 months. And that's going to equal the number of shows you submitted in a month. Now, we talked about that it's going to be an average of 8 parties to earn the Scottsdale trip, okay? And that's without sponsorship. And you know what? This whole focus on this program is about building a team and getting to directorship. So when you're doing that 8 shows is not, it's not a hard number. But I'm going to tell you initially, until you're ready to move to directorship, 8 shows, 2 shows a week should be your mantra, okay? Because that's going to put you in front of enough people. And that's what this is all about. It's about having the ability to talk to enough people to book enough shows to have enough new team members. Okay, so you need to decide what you want to increase your number of shows to. And you need to talk to your accountability partner about that. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. So go ahead. Thanks, Kim. Next slide. Okay, so 2018, Pampered Chef sets you up for success just by offering a double rewards for January. How many of you, when you talk to a host who has hosted in the past and you mentioned to them that they have double rewards for January, you don't even have to sell them on that. They're like, oh my gosh, I am so excited. And one of the things I always like to bring your attention to is the fact that if you have someone who has a concern that they don't want to do a show because they don't know enough people, this is the month you talk to them about a buddy show. And a buddy show is where they ask their best friend or their neighbor or someone that they know to share the rewards. They're not even sharing their rewards. They're actually each getting equal what they would have gotten in any other month. But this gives people confidence because they're doing something with a friend. Okay? All right, so double rewards, again, is a major tool. All right? All right, so the next slide is a little bit about the trip. Okay, it's the Fairmont Scottsdale Princess Hotel. Okay? The trip is, you get a $500 travel allowance if you want to take a road trip, or you could get your airfare and your transfers, you know, through Pampered Chef, which Kim was talking about. They call you up, they give you your flight information, you get in the plane, and there you go. There's also a special group event. And those are so fun. What do we mean by a special group event? It means Pampered Chef is giving you a party in your honor because they want to recognize the hard work that you put into getting to that. There's also daily group breakfast, and that's always nice. And in the past 2 years at our daily group breakfast, our CEO, Tracy Britt Cool, always does a question and answer segment with those that are on the trip. And spouses or significant others or family members really enjoy hearing from Tracy. Those of you that went to conference, you know, you realize what an amazing leader that she is. But it gives that opportunity for our support system to also see that. All right, so let's go to the next slide, Kim. We have a little bit of background noise, so if you're in a noisy area so we can get a clear recording, if you could mute yourself, that would be great. All right, so this is about setting the goals for achievement. And so I don't know, it could have even been my phone. It's better now, isn't it? Yes? No?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the setting the goals. Okay. So we need for this Scottsdale trip is 56,000 points. That's 1 point for every dollar of commissionable sales. If you were on early, we talked a little bit about the consistency point, and that's 1,000 points per quarter. So for example, if you do 2,000 in January, February, March, and April, you get an additional 1,000 points, and that's in each quarter. So isn't that super nice that they're giving you that?
Yeah.
So somebody's saying, pat on the back, you know, there you go, thank you. And one of the things that you have to remember is we're talking about building a team. So that's 3,000 points for each qualified recruit. So with everybody working towards directorship, it is a given you're going to have all those extra recruiting points. And then moving to becoming an upper level leader, 6,000 points for each director that you promote on your team. Now, I want to bring up the point, we had a girl, right, Melva, at our meeting yesterday. She earned Amelia Island in 3 months.
Whoa.
Because she promoted to director, okay? 3 months. She fast-tracked to directorship. She earned Amelia Island, and she also promoted a director on her team. So everything is possible as long as you truly believe that you're going to do it. All right, let's go to the next slide, Kim. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the wonderful promotion for double points in January, but we want you to fill those first 2 weeks of January. Because think about this. Your guests are going to be able to get free products, double the value, but you're also going to stock your kitchen with the free-for-all. Anyone looking at the new products? Any guesses on what you think the new products could be? Anyone want to take a guess?
I think there's going to be some cookware of some kind.
You think cookware? Okay.
I'd say stainless steel. I think they're
All right.
This is my guess.
All right. All right. Does anyone have something on their wish list that they wish Pampered Chef would put in the line?
You know what? Now that we have electronic stuff, I would love to see a blender that rivals like a Blendtec or a Vitamix.
Okay.
I've been thinking a KitchenAid.
That'd be awesome.
A KitchenAid. Mm-hmm. Yeah, now that they trust us with electronics, right? Yeah, yeah, that's true. All right, all right, all right. So Kim's going to talk with us in a little bit about making sure that we host coach, because we want to, even though most of us are here in the South, we don't have a lot of bad weather issues, even though we do get ice storms. There is, things that happen. But we want to make sure that we have a great relationship built with our hosts, and we want to also have wiggle room for those reschedules. Okay? All right, so let's go to our next slide.
I don't know why this is delayed. I'm sorry. There we go.
Yeah, that's okay. I understand. All right. So think about all I should say, we want to think about our focus for January. Okay. January, of course, what happens in January? What's the first thing people do? They set a New Year's resolution to what?
On a diet.
Lose weight.
Okay. They set a New Year's resolution to lose weight. So start promoting that now. Salad in a jar, healthy in a hurry, all of the healthy food options, and we have the products to do that. So, you know what, I love giving that I always talk about the healthy cooking classes, and you know what, it never fails. They always choose something not healthy, but at least it gets them moving in the right direction, right? All right. All right. So let's go to the next slide, Kim.
Did that come up?
Yep.
Okay.
No, give it one more. Next one.
Oh, the next one? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, number 9. There we go.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. Okay. So I mentioned earlier to come up with accountability buddy. And you know what? The best thing that you can do for your business and you can do for yourself is to connect with people that are like-minded, meaning find out who in this group, find out who on your team also wants to go to Scottsdale or also wants to go to Hawaii. You know what? People that have similar goals, when you're working together, they're going to help you through the highs and the lows. And you know what? One of the things is that, is earning a trip easy? No, it's not easy. Is it worth it? Yes. Are there going to be things that happen that maybe, make you hit the reset button? Yes, but you know what? You can do that. You can hit the reset button anytime you make the decision to do it. You can work, you have the opportunity in this business to do as many shows a month as you want, okay? But it is all about being consistent and also being accountable to what you set your goals out to be. So if you're struggling, find the accountability buddy. All right, let's go on to the next one, Tim.
Donna, can you hear me?
I can't.
Okay. I don't think we did slide number 8 at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we hit that or not.
No.
Oh, we didn't.
Okay.
Kathy, go through slide number 8 for us.
This is. Do you see it, Donna? Start 2018 fast.
Yep, we are.
Okay.
It's a, you know what, sometimes it's so, I have to share, ladies, it's really is frustrating to be on the other end of this. What we see, and we're like, okay, we're okay. And so when we keep saying to you, what are you seeing? We appreciate the hands up, just by seeing. Okay, so we talked about holidays are a popular time to ask, like, to pop the big question. So many people getting married. I am so excited and happy to say my son, I have one son that finally is engaged. So I'm getting involved in all the wedding planning, and it's lots of fun. So you have people that they're going to be, planning weddings. Weddings are big money. The average wedding, ladies, nowadays is about $25,000 average. Okay.
My kids are never married.
Get into it. Just tell everybody to elope. I tried that. That didn't work either. Elope or a destination wedding. So bridal vendor events. Market the bridal registry. Have one product that you bring up at your show that is your segue into bridal registry. So can anyone name a product that would help you to remember I need to talk about bridal? Can anyone name a product?
Rock clock.
The rock clock, right. Why? Because typically, or I should say many brides don't know how to cook. So you can talk to them about this is an easy way to make sure that you have, dinner on the table. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. You've heard all the sayings before, so keep that in mind. You want to be able to, to segue that quickly. For me, it's the batter bowl, because it's a staple for every kitchen. So when I pick up the batter bowl, I say, hey, do you know anyone who's getting married? Do you know anyone, who is just recently engaged? We do bridal registry as well as bridal showers. Okay. Thanks, Kathy. All right. So we would be on 10 now. There we go. All right. So we talked a little bit about goal setting. It's also about assessing the areas that you need to improve upon. Okay. What one thing are you going to change about your business from 2017 to 2018? Okay. So think about that for a second. What one major thing could you do that would impact your results more than anything else?
More parties.
Okay. More parties. Exactly. More parties. And in order to get more parties, what do we need to do first?
Ask.
Yep. More calls. Exactly. Picking up the phone, making more calls. All right. All right, Kim, let's go ahead and move on. So as Kim's changing the slide, you have to, what you wrote down on your paper that you're going to improve upon, you need to share that with your director. That is the best way that she can help you when she knows the areas you want to improve upon. Okay, so decide what areas you'd like to improve. Compare how each improvement can impact, your results. Talk to your director about strategies that she can help you with. Strategies that will make a difference. She has the experience, but she can't make you pick up the phone. So it really is up to you about what you're going to do with the ideas that together you're going to decide that'll make the difference. Okay. All right, let's go to slide 12. Okay. So if you could wave a magic wand and you could make anything happen in your business in 2018, what would it be? Think about that. What would it be? And importantly, how is your family going to feel about it? Think about how your family would feel when you brought them to Hawaii or you brought them to Scottsdale. Okay. This will be the third time that we've gone to Hawaii. And my children will tell you the trip that they enjoyed most, even over Disney, ladies, was Hawaii for them. They got to swim with the dolphins. I mean, they had a magical trip, okay? And they'll tell you that they never would have happened for them if it wasn't for Pampered Chef. So a goal without a plan is just a dream. So keep that in mind. I suggest that you change your screensaver on your computers to the trip destination. So every day when you turn your computer on, the first thing that you see is that trip destination. You have to believe it's going to happen. All right, let's go on to the next slide. All right, so screensavers, a vision board, make pictures. What do you want to achieve? You know, put pictures on a board, a new one for each year, and you want to view that daily. So do you want a new car? You want to enjoy the trip to Hawaii? Do you want leadership? What is it that you want for yourself, for your business, and for your family? We've talked about affirmations. Okay, affirmations are training your mind to believe all things are possible. But affirmations need to be read daily, and they're all about I am statements. So if you're going to be a director, your I am statement will be is I am a strong and strategic director. Okay? Share those affirmations again with your leader. And one big goal. Okay? So how will I help you place your question, including your action steps? So how will I become a director? How will I get to Hawaii? All right, let's go to the next slide. Okay, we're going to attach this. This is a goal setting worksheet, and I'll attach it to our page. But it's going to help us outline what your goals are for 2018. Because this isn't going to end, you know, of course, we really hope that your end all isn't this program. This is just the starting point. And that goal setting sheet is going to help us work through that. All right, let's go to 15. All right, so a leader's job is to look into the future and not see the organization as it is, but as it can become. So that is start thinking like leaders, and that's going to make all the difference in the world. All right. All right. So we've put a little bit of ideas into your head about what's possible and how to plan for it. And we said, yes, it is all about sales, and it's all about having those bookings on your calendar. But what we're going to cover now is how to keep those shows on your calendar. And Kim Manning I always tell her, she's our virtual extraordinaire, and she basically does her business all through virtual parties. So if you have considered moving your business to a more virtual focus, Kim is the person to ask questions to. So we're going to have her go ahead and start about how to keep those shows on the calendar. And then we're going to open it up to questions, because I know that this is a new facet that maybe many of you have not looked deeper into. So go ahead, Kim. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Donna, for inviting me to share about this. And just to give you guys a little bit of background, I've been in business for over 10 years. In fact, going on 11 years soon. And this year I have made the switch to be almost 100% virtual. There's one that's not quite in bed yet. She was hungry, so she's got to eat. So this year I looked at my numbers so I could kind of share with my team. I earned Amelia Island last week. And with my numbers, I've done a total of 57 shows. Only 11 of those were cooking shows. So I've done 46 virtual parties this year. And I'll be honest, the host coaching is very similar. when you're doing live shows or virtual parties, but there are some differences, especially mostly in the way that you're going to contact your hostesses normally. Because most of everything that I do is on Facebook, they usually contact me through Facebook. So that's where I do most of my host coaching, is through Facebook Messenger. Although I just found out one of my hosts for next week, she didn't answer her message right away. So I called her yesterday. And so after talking to her for a couple minutes, she couldn't talk long. She was at work. And I said, that's okay. Is it better for me to text you or do Facebook? And she said, no, text me. It's better. So that's going to be my first tip, is ask your host what's the best way to contact them, and then honor that. Give me 1 second. Hey, go eat that in the kitchen. Sorry. Hopefully she'll go away. It's bedtime. I always try to tell them. But anyway, so here's some things, especially with January shows, and this is going to be cooking shows or virtual shows. For January, it's really important to stay in contact with your hosts throughout the holidays, because we all know what a crazy busy time this can be. Pampered Chef actually has letters, host coaching letters on the website that you can use. And I think they're pretty generic. In the past, they've had some specific for December, January hosts. But I think now they're just kind of there all the time. But you can print those letters off, and you should mail them out. I believe the first one, if you're going to have a show the first week of January, you should mail that one out this week. And depending on when your shows are, though, you're going to mail one letter a week. It's just going to have a recipe. It's just going to kind of be a reminder of, hey, we have your party. Here's the date of your party. You know, just to keep it in the forefront of their mind, so that when they're going to their holiday parties, they can mention the party, they can mention their Pampered Chef party to their family and their friends and the people they're going to be seeing throughout the holidays. Also, go ahead and get them their host packet, or at least get them a catalog that they can take around and pass around as they're doing their holiday things. One thing that I love to use, and I've got my notebook here, is this is an old, I think, is this still on the website, Donna? Can you see it?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So this is still on the website, the host information checklist. It's a great place to have all of your information if you're a paper and pencil person like I am. I do everything with paper. If I try and do it digitally, I can't ever find where I saved it. So, it's got all your host information at the top with all their address and phone number and all that. Keep track of your host goals. That's going to be what drives your host to get the people there, to get the things that she wants. Make sure that you're talking to your host about a wish list. What does she want? What is on that list? And hopefully, if it's like, the mini serving spatula and like the color-coded knife, you can talk to them and be like, well, what are some other things if money were no object? Because chances are that rock crock is going to be on her list, or the knives, or something else like that. So get your host to really start working on that wish list and what they want out of their show. So that way you can use that as leverage to help them with their inviting process. Now, the things that I'm looking with, and I've been kind of going back and forth with how to do my parties with groups or events. I've actually changed. I've been doing, how many of you do, first of all, who does virtual parties? Okay, so a lot of us, about half of us, do virtual parties. Those of you who do virtual parties, how many of you are doing like the 5-day or longer? Is anybody doing longer than 5 days? Okay, good. Because I just there was a webinar today that I wasn't able to get on all of it, but they said the shorter, the better. So how many of you are doing the 5 days? Okay, so I've been doing the 5 days of my 46 virtual parties. 45 of them, I think, were 5-day parties. My last party that I just did was a 1-hour virtual party.
Wow.
I am changing to the 1-hour virtual party. It was amazing. Okay. Basically, the 1-hour virtual show is just like a cooking show. Here was a mistake I made in the past. The way I used to do my virtual parties, especially when I first started, was a virtual party is awesome. I can show the entire catalog to the virtual party because I have a whole week, or even when we started them 10 days, I can show absolutely everything. Well, what's the point in coming back to another party if they've seen it all? Okay. We have to leave them wanting more. So I've changed my format of my parties. It is basically a cooking show just done virtually. I do not cook a meal, because that was something some of my team members were saying. They're like, well, I don't want to be cooking at 8 o'clock at night. I didn't cook at 8 o'clock at night. I did a party, and my January parties will probably almost all be like a smart swaps, like a healthy eating. And so I might think of 2 ideas that I can share with them about healthy eating. So like I might say, well, you could sub out turkey meat instead of ground beef. So if that's something I'm going to talk about, well, I'm going to introduce a recipe and say, okay, here's, the taco ring has always been popular. How about instead of using ground beef, you use ground turkey? So now it's the turkey taco ring. So I introduce that recipe, and then you go through and you share about the tools, just like you would in a cooking show. And so my host, when I did that, I talked to her about it. She was like, well, that sounds great, because then I only have to be online for an hour. And when you can get your host to say, oh, I only have to be online for an hour, perfect. Then you've got them hooked. And this 1 hour show is amazing. So the host coaching with that is, first of all, invite. Okay. Obviously we have to have people there. And I am trying to figure out that magic number, but I'm hearing the magic number is 50. Okay. And I know how many of you have got, like, you either create a group or whatever, and you tell people, just put everybody in there, invite everybody on Facebook. You got 300 friends, invite 300 people. Right? When they do that, nobody feels special. Everybody sees that like, oh, she invited everybody. She doesn't even care about me. Okay. They should treat a virtual party just like an in-home party. And I tell my hostesses that. I say, I want you to invite anybody that you would invite to your home if they lived locally. I said, that's the key, though. They don't have to live locally. So let's just think about all of your Facebook friends. If they lived locally, who would you actually invite to come to your house? And then I tell them, you should try to invite between 50 and 60. And I want that bottom number to be 50, but I want that top number to be 60. Because if they go much over 60, then you're kind of losing that whole being a special thing that they're invited to. Okay. So when you're doing that, you're going to have those hosts that say, oh, I don't know that many people. Well, I'm sure that you do. How many friends do you have on Facebook? Again, and help them believe that they actually have what it takes to do that, and that they've got all those people. I love this sheet that I showed you too, because it has all of the little talking points that you should be doing. And again, you can do these through Messenger, you can do these through text. So you're going to, review your planner, have them build their wish list. You're going to help them figure out who to invite. The friends or the Franks list. How many of you know what I'm saying when I say the Franks list? You all done that? Okay. If you don't know the Franks list, write down the letters Franks, F-R-A-N-K-S. And so your F are your friends, and just tell them, invite 5 or 6 people, write down 5 or 6 names that are your friends. Then R are your relatives. A is your acquaintances or associates. So maybe people they work with, or like the hairdresser, the post office lady, whatever, those people. N are their neighbors. K are their kids. Who do they know through their kids, their kids' parents and things like that. And then S would be spouse or significant other. Who do you know because of them? And again, have them write down those 5 or 6 names in each category. Now you've got a guest list. Now you know who to invite. With the invitations, they cannot rely on Facebook. Okay, even though it's a Facebook party, you can't use Facebook as the only means of invitations, because half the people don't see the invitation on Facebook, things like that. I always have them, as soon as they've invited people, within a few hours or at least by the next day. For example, I've got a party on Thursday. I had it set up on Monday. She started inviting today. So tomorrow I'm going to have her go into the thing and do a private message to each person saying, hey, did you see the invitation? Did you see that I've got this party going on? And then also make sure that she is letting her friends know this is only an hour-long show. So you're only going to have to be on for 1 hour. And I can talk more about that later, but this is mostly just on host coaching. And then of course the RSVPs, that's one thing that's nice is they're going to RSVP on the Facebook. So that's really great. I've got notes in a couple different places. So here's something that's new that I'm starting. And this has been really, really great is when you're doing a virtual party, instead of sending, how many of you either have like an Evernote file or, you know, you're just sending them like big long posts or anything like that. They don't read that stuff. Okay. They're not going to go through a whole Evernote file. They're not going to read 3 paragraphs of what I should do to have a great party. Do a welcome video for your host. So you can do a quick 2-minute, 3-minute video, probably 2 minutes or less, 2 minutes or less of just here's what your party is going to look like. And you want to make sure they understand what the party is going to look like too, because for a lot of hosts, they've never done a virtual party before. So they don't know if it's a 5-day party, let them know we're going to start the first post on this day. And you're going to have, if you do like a day or 2 of pre-party posts, which I kind of discourage at this point, if you're going to do pre-party posts, like at the most 1 day. And I even started when I was still doing the 5-day posts, I did 1 day of pre-party, 3 days of actual show, and 1 day of wrap up. My whole party start to finish was 5 days. So really it was kind of like a 3-day party with just 1 day on either side. With the 1 hour party, my pre-party is the day of the party. Like I'll do 1 post tomorrow just as a like reminder. I might do a little like game just like to get them interacting already. So maybe like what's your chef name or like the like your elf name right now is going around or those little things, just something fun to keep them going. But again, when you're doing your video, you want to make sure your host knows exactly what the party's going to look like, how long is it going to last, when can they do their ordering, how do they do their ordering, make sure she's got her show link, make sure she knows how she's going to navigate through the whole thing. But that's one of the things that we are hearing. I was involved in a pilot for the virtual parties, and it just ended last week. And it was really insightful how they said there were just a lot of things that people are getting, like they might get frustrated with if you extend your party, if you have tons and tons of games, but not really much product information for them, things like that. And one of the things that they said though is that, again, the shorter the party, the better it is. And people need to know what the party is going to look like. So once you tell the host what it's going to look like, you also need to make sure you tell your guests. So if you're doing a 5-day show, let them know, here's how often I'm going to be posting. This is when you're going to see notifications from me. And that'll help them to know what to expect so that they're not maybe getting annoyed if, oh my gosh, she's posting every other hour or something like that. They're going to see that. Let's see, what else do I have? Build the relationship with the host too. That's the thing. You got to remember that she's still a person and she's not just a means to an end for you to get sales, but she's a person. So get to know her, build that relationship. She's still going to be your #1 recruiting opportunity as well. So keep that in mind as you're going through the host coaching process. Make sure you're mentioning to her about becoming a consultant. Sorry if you're hearing background noise from me. But yeah, keep that relationship going, and also think about offering an incentive for 3 bookings. That's another thing that if you want to keep your business going virtually, offer that incentive. You get a free brownie pan if you get 3 bookings, and then I always tie that to you get it at the 3rd party when it qualifies, when all 3 parties qualify. So that's something you can add in here. Ask questions from your host. As you're getting to know her, ask her things about her work. What is her life like? Because you're going to be able to find out, what's your life like? What's your work like? What's your family like? Is there anything that you have struggles with in the kitchen? Because you can start to tailor your party to her. And the more personal you can make your party, not to say that you have to have a different outline for every single host, but you can add that element. You can maybe have your general outline set up, but if you know that your host really needs those 30-minute meals, you can add in a couple extra of those 30-minute recipes for her. If you know that your host is a vegetarian, then you can add in a couple of extra vegetarian options for her. So just kind of just a way that you can make that party be tailored to her is going to be helpful. And so you'll find that out in your host coaching when you're getting to know her a little bit. Another thing that you need to do in your host coaching is also coach your host on how to do a welcome video for her guests. That's another really important thing. In Facebook, to have a successful party, the more video you have, and especially the more live video you have, the more opportunity people are going to see that. Because Facebook is set up right now where they're going to see videos before they're just going to see posts as far as notifications go. So if you can get your host to do a really quick, like just tell her it is 90 seconds or less to just say, thanks for coming to my party. I'm really excited to see what Kim is going to share with us. And you know, just thanking everybody for coming, because probably if you had an in-home party, your host is probably going to say thanks to the people who come and things like that. So giving her like a few options of what to say and how to do that welcome video will be helpful as well. Oh, and one other tip that I've heard about with the host coaching, make sure you start that host coaching conversation with a phone call. That very first one should be a call. And I've even had people say that they do not even add their host to the party until they've done that phone call, because you want to make sure they understand, especially with the invitations, which I just realized I have a party on Thursday and I added my host without doing that first call. She's invited 111 people. And
Wow.
so I'm like, okay, I should have done that call first because I wanted her to keep that guest list to 50 or 60. So again, that's just another thing that can hold yourself accountable, is to say, you know what, I'm not going to add my host to the party until I've had that phone call with her so she knows how many people to invite. Because if she goes in, as soon as she sees, oh, hey, my party's up, I'm going to go invite everybody now, and she invites 500 people, then you know that party's going to be much harder to deal with. So I think, Donna, is there anything I've left out?
No, my gosh, I've learned, I've wrote notes here. So
Great.
I've learned a few things myself. So does anyone have any questions for Kim in relation to the virtual parties?
Do you do a group event? Is that how you?
I've gone back and forth with groups and events. Now that I'm doing the 1 hour party, I've gone back to events. Because it's a specific day at a specific time. And so, yeah. And what I did with the one that I just did was the party was from, I either do mine 8 to 9 or 8:30 to 9:30, depending on what the host wants. 8:30 usually works better for me, as you can see. So
Kim, when you set up the event, you still have that opportunity to set it up for 2 weeks. Do you, after the event, do you ever put any additional posts to keep, the ordering going?
Yes. And so that's what I was going to say. So when I set up the event on Facebook, I set it up for like Thursday night from 8 to 9. But while the event was going on, so just so you know, for the 1 hour, this is how I had it set up. I used ScentShare, and I did basically 2 ideas about the smart swaps. So I did the trade out ground beef for turkey, and I did 15 minutes of posting. So what that looked like was a recipe for the turkey ring, and then I talked about the large round stone with handles. I talked about the mix and chop, and I talked about the grater, the coarse grater. That was all through posts, and it took about 15 minutes. Then I also share, of course, just like at a party, then I share more recipes that you can use with that large round stone with handles. Okay. Then I went and I introduced and I said, okay, next we're going to talk about how to make, how to go low carb and use veggie noodles instead of pasta. So then I went live in my kitchen, and all I did was a demo with the veggie spiralizer. And I had a beet that I had already peeled. So it was all ready to go. I had my camera set up, and it was maybe 10 minutes long, probably not even 10 full minutes. But I showed them all the parts of the veggie spiralizer, how to put it together and all of that. Then I got my beet, and I showed them all 3 cuts and how to change out the blade and all that stuff. And so they got to see it being used in action. I mean, people were commenting, oh my gosh, I need to have this thing. That looks amazing. They were loving it. But it was only like 10 minutes of a demo. And then I was able, because of course I had ScentShare set up. So then I had another recipe post about something that you could do with veggie noodles. And then I did those products. I think I talked about I think probably the skillet was in there, or the rock crock. It was the rock crock, the veggie strip maker, and some other product. So I talked about those products. And while all that was posting, I was like rinsing off my veggie spiralizer, getting all that stuff put away. I came back in, I'm answering comments, I'm talking about everything. And then after that was like another 15 minutes. And then I did like a 10-minute wrap up. I had a couple of posts, and then I came on live again. That's the key with this 1 hour party. I went live at the beginning, I went live in the middle, and I went live at the end. And I made sure that my survey slip posted at the end. And I told them, I said, okay, by 10 o'clock tonight, anybody who's turned in that survey, I'm going to do a drawing. And so I had a few people turn in the survey. I came on live again, did a quick drawing. I keep my tickets right here. So as I'm looking at the computer, I just write down whose names are on there. I throw it in a bowl. I draw the prize. It was all done. It was all finished and done in an hour. And then I offered an incentive. Anybody who places their order by tomorrow, 8 p.m., then I'll do another drawing. And so that's what I did. But then, yeah, I keep the posting open. And so then I make sure that I have my host. Here's another part of the host coaching is, hey, make sure you say thank you to anybody who orders. Make sure, both of us post reminders about the last day to order and things like that. So yes, I do end up extending that party after I've had it set up. I go in real quick and I just switch and I say end date, and I put it out to 3 days or a week or however long the host and I decided.
Awesome. Great.
I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Shannon.
So I just finished a party. I'm closing it out tonight. And she invited about 50 people, and probably half of them, it was an okay in terms of interaction on the party. And the last day I said, you know what, reach out. And she goes, I'm busy. And I said, do you mind if I reach out to everybody you invited? She goes, sure. So I reached out to every person she invited. And I probably got 20 messages back saying, wow, I didn't even know this party was happening.
Yeah.
So
So that's part of the host coaching.
Right.
After you set it up, and this is what I do on after the first day, after she's invited everybody, I say, okay, now go in and message everybody to make sure they see the invitation. So yeah, you want to do that before the party, obviously, instead of after. But if you caught them, at least you caught them. And so you're like, hey, here's the link. You can have, it's all still there. You can go look through it.
Yeah, it worked well. And I told her, I said, and now I'm going to be more proactive, saying you have to talk to them because I'm not their friend.
Right.
Right. They know you, not me. So, okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Kim, how many hour-long shows have you done so far?
That's the only one I've done so far, but I've got one on Thursday, one on Sunday, and another one next Tuesday.
So I'd love if you would kind of keep us all in the loop and let us know how the sales are for those compared to your 5-day ones.
The one that I had was $500. And
wow.
and my 5-day shows, I mean, I was barely getting them qualified, $200-$300 for most of those. So
and you're putting more time into that 5-day one,
right?
A lot more.
Into the 1 hour. So
yeah, because I literally used the 5-day outline I had been using. I used basically 2/3 of the 5-day outline. So I just took 2 of the 3 days that I'd been using, and I just condensed them instead of a day where they were like every 2 hours of posts. I just put them into 15 minutes every 3 minutes. And so I did like 5 posts in 15 minutes, and that idea was done. And the interaction was just like nonstop. And it was a small party. She only invited 30 people. There were 17 who said they were going. And I think there may have been about 8 who actually showed up at the party, 8 or 9. And then we ended up with like maybe 5 or 6 orders, and it got up to $500.
Right.
Yeah.
I like this. This is great.
It's awesome.
Thank you, Kim. This is great.
Yeah.
All right.
How many
Any other
of the veggie? I'm sorry, Donna.
It's okay.
Go ahead, Nicole.
How many of the veggie spiralizers did you end up selling?
I think I only sold 2, and it was to the mother of the host, and I think she was getting them as Christmas gifts, honestly. But you know, there were a lot of people who said they wanted them, so my follow-up is still going on with that. And so and I had a lot of people who really wanted the rock crock. So of course Dumble burner grill pan. That was the other thing. I had one girl who came on and she actually she friended me during the party, was stalking me during the party, and found a picture that I had posted on my page with double burner grill pan roasted vegetables in it. And she took that picture and posted it into the party.
Wow.
And somebody was like, "Where did you get that picture?" And she said, "I've been stalking Kim during the party." But she was like, "Kim, what is this? I need to have this." And 3 people said that they needed to have that double burner grill pan. Now, nobody ordered it, but yeah, I'm following up with all of them to get bookings for January.
Bookings, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and again, that
All
just
right.
goes to show, use the big products. Whether you're actually at a cooking show or you're doing virtual, you got to use those big products because that's what's going to get them.
Absolutely.
Exactly. All right. Any other questions? All right, Kim, thank you. That was fabulous. So much great information. Okay, so we're going to pick this called tic-tac-toe winner. And we go right here. And it is Janae Hayes. Congratulations,
Yay.
Janae. You're the winner. All right. So remember, everyone, you know, you took copious notes. It really now, this week, it is so imperative that you get on a call with your director and talk to them about what it is that you want to achieve for the next year. What trip? You know, what's the plan? So right there, you know, Kim gave you a great new fresh concept. I challenge you, even though this may not be on tic-tac-toe, I challenge you before the end of December is to do a 1-hour virtual party. That is going to be easy peasy, you know, 1 hour of your time. So remember, the cutoff is the 19th of December for standard delivery. So you still have plenty of time to get another show in. You know, one of the things I noticed on lots of your tic-tac-toe, what you missed, the square was Green by the 15th. You have total control over Green by the 15th. It can be a $200 catalog show, ladies. So, you know what? Don't miss that little square. You can all do it. We're really excited that you're in the program, that you've been here consistently with all the calls, and we appreciate everything that you bring to the business. So thank you, everyone. Have a great one. Enjoy
Thank you,
it.
Donna.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, Kim.